Hey guys, my name is Ray, and today's the day that we are talking about episode 3 titled The Queen's Justice. It was the third episode in season 7, and I am going to start off right away for those who are watching this a couple of hours even before the 4th episode. No spoilers. I cannot stress this enough because we have to respect everybody. Not everybody does the whole pirating thing, the whole online thing. I do not want to talk about it. We will not be talking about it. And this one will be particularly short today. So hope you guys enjoy. And again, no spoilers in the chat. I just want to give a shout out to everyone who's joining us in the chat. Amber, Littlefinger, Jake Cruz, and Eduardo Blanco, Laura. Thanks for joining us, everyone. But like I said, it's crazy because the last couple of days have been extremely hectic. But before we even get to that, and I'll talk about that with my co-host right here, the lovely Amelia. Amelia, tell them what's up.
Hey, everybody, it's Amelia. Ray's wingman. Once again, no spoilers. We're not talking about it. Hi.
All right, so like I said, let's just start off with this. Let's knock this out of this, take this out of, possible contention or popping up in the future. We're not talking on spoilers. We're not talking about episode 4, even though it has leaked. We won't be talking about it. We won't be making predictions today, and today's stream will be a bit shorter, so bear with us. But thanks for everyone who's just joined us right now in the chat. This is always fun. I always enjoy doing these. But like I said, we're going to be talking about episode 3. I can't stress that enough because I know we will be asked that. And again, respect everybody in the chat. No spoilers. So let's just get into this. We finally got in episode 3, Amelia. The union, the meeting, the first meeting of Ice and Fire. Or you could say maybe possibly Ice and Fire meeting Ice. But what did you think about the crazy reunion between Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen?
Reunion.
Or not reunion, the meeting.
Because, I enjoyed it, and I was worried that a little arrogant, and boy was she. There were comedic parts to it that I enjoyed. I enjoyed, that Tyrion was there as a buffer. Of course, I enjoyed it comes out of Davos's mouth. But Dany definitely acted very, very arrogant in the beginning, which I thought could happen. And Jon didn't bend the knee. And I said, if push came to shove, he would, but I still don't think that we're there yet.
I mean, it's interesting because I feel that poor Daenerys has gotten so much backlash, and that's just who Daenerys is. That's just her character. That's just the way she is. And to me, it was just hilarious how everybody was just like freaking out how hard she went at Jon Snow. I was honestly, if we're going to keep it 100, I wasn't shocked by it. You know what I mean? Like, I like the way that Tyrion and everyone approached it. I like the way that, I feel that Tyrion was a good buffer between Daenerys and Jon. I also feel that Jon was a bit funny, the way that it was kind of funny the way that Jon Snow approached, Daenerys. And it was funny. Did you get to see Emilia Clarke talking about like a little bit about like the meeting or something? Did you get to see that?
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I don't know.
I did.
You did?
Yeah, on the Game of Thrones website.
For some reason, I feel like I haven't been able to see like all the inside the episode stuff because it seems like it's been a lot fewer than in previous seasons for me that I've seen. But I don't know. I just think that there was a couple of things in Dragonstone, right? Because we're talking about Dragonstone overall. Like, that Davos Melisandre meeting, that was insane. The tension when she says, "Oh, you have to die here." It was freaky.
Varys, Varys, not Davos.
Yeah, Varys. When Varys and Melisandre are talking about, you know, that they both have to die in Westeros, that was a bit freaky. I mean, you don't just come up to people saying that they have to die, where they're gonna die. It's like coming up to someone and saying like when they're gonna die or something. You know what I mean? It's just like weird. And it was interesting. Do you have any thoughts or any predictions on what you think that meant?
I think that it weirded Varys out more than Mel. And I mean, I think Mel knew, like, she had she knew her intentions, but was taken back by it more just because it came from a Red Priestess. But it's also kind of obvious that he's if he dies, he lives in Westeros, so he's probably going to die in Westeros. I mean, getting into it probably more than she is, but even if she knows that he's going to die in Westeros, it's probably like, I'm probably going to die in Kentucky because that's where I live, you know? It's not
a numbers game. It's just like a numbers game. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, I have had people come up to me, like, on the street talking about, like religion, like, randomly. And, like, they come up to you sometimes, like, so aggressively that, like, freaks me out. Like, you know what I mean? And just the way that the bad history that Varys has with Red Priests and magic. And then Melisandre tells him, like, yo, you're going to die in Westeros. Like you said, most likely he knows that he was going to die in Westeros, and we even know that because he lives there. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it's still creepy as fuck. Like, you know what I mean? She's like, ugh. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, snap. Why did she say that? Am I going to die, like taking a bath?
Rude to her. And I think he was just probably, like, very, like, puffy-chested, and because he doesn't like Red Priests and Priestesses, so gave him a dose of his own medicine, and in the end he was like, now I'm scared again.
Yeah, because it looked and it felt like he was trying to check Melisandre, right? It felt like he was just trying to, like, how could it, like, intimidate her, and, like, her with a couple of words, she just switched it up on him, man. He was shooting bricks. I love that, like, his face so much. He was like, oh, snap, like, this is, and then it just went from bad to worse when the Greyjoy ship comes into the bay, and then Varys has that bad news. But before we get to the bad news that that Varys gets from the Greyjoy ship, let's talk about, again, the Dany and Jon meeting. We see that she's very arrogant. Her approach to Jon Snow is like, you have to bend the knee to me because your family, your ancestors did it, so you have to do it. Like, it's a forever oath, let's say, right? Perpetuity, whatever she said. And then we see that Jon Snow throws it right back at her. I just love the way that Jon Snow gets on an even playing field with her once the whole Greyjoy thing is told to Dany, right? Because we see that she was very arrogant, and then once Varys tells her that, she's just like, oh snap, like, okay, you guys could leave, let me regroup. What did you think about it? Do you think that knocked her down a couple of notches? Like, the whole Greyjoy thing and her allies being taken down?
I think that it did, and I think it shows that it knocked her down when you're moving further into the scenes when it's her and Tyrion, and he's convincing her to let them mine the dragon glass. You know, he says, Jon, you know, he could be our ally, even though we're losing allies. Do this for him because he could be a good ally. And she realizes, nice and come off of her pedestal, he's not winning.
To me, it was just funny the way that it's like, I have my reasoning for you bending the knee, and I have my reasoning not to bend the knee. Another interesting thing that I like about Jon is that he kind of reminded me of Mance Rayder when he didn't want to bend the knee to Stannis. Like, you know what I mean? It really, like, as soon as I saw it, it made me think about Mance Rayder because he told John, like, basically, like, you'll know, like, when you have to leave, like, you know what I mean. So I just felt that it was really dope. I really enjoyed that. I just think that there is kind of like some chemistry I see. Let me know, everyone in the chat, if you saw chemistry between John and Daenerys. I think that there might be, but it's like a weird chemistry. Like, you know what I mean? It's like this I don't like you, but I respect you type chemistry. Do you think that there's any sparks there, any wiggle room for any shipping there?
I saw a little, but it's still too new. It's way too early.
I mean, yeah.
Those very attractive people, but John is sticking to his, sticking to his guns.
I mean, when I saw the whole debacle, I like it when he called them children. He's like, we're all children, and she's like, oh, like, he called me a children. Like, she felt like it was like specific or like pointing at her. So I just really enjoyed the interaction between them. I honestly am hoping that they somehow find a like mutual ground and where they could both respect each other. But I think that there's a lot more stuff that's interesting down the line for them. And let's also jump to in the future with the whole meeting, like you said, when after Tyrion talks with Daenerys, we see that basically Daenerys allows Jon to mine the dragon glass. She talks about her brothers and naming the 2 dragons after them. What did you think about this scene in particular? Did you see anything there that you liked or anything?
Between Dany and Jon?
Yeah.
I thought that she was a lot softer to him, and they bonded a little bit more in that moment. And it shows that they're going to be able to work together and respect each other. Mm-hmm. You live in New York. I mean,
But yeah, I don't know. I think that it was interesting that one line that I really liked from that scene when they were talking, right, was the scene where
they can't hear you, right?
yeah, I just noticed my mic was kind of muted. My bad. One scene that I actually really enjoyed, that it was the scene that Daenerys says, like, that they're talking about Tyrion, that he enjoys talking, and then Daenerys says, I think it is like we all enjoy doing what we know or what we like, whatever, and then Jon Snow says he doesn't. It right away made me think about Barristan Selmy. My bad for leaving the camera on you. I forgot about that. It reminded me about Barristan Selmy, and it was like a really dope moment. I really enjoyed that. I thought that it was interesting. It's more furthering that, basically, Jon Snow is Rhaegar's son. To me, anybody who doesn't think that Rhaegar is Jon's father is like fighting it. Like you're pulling at strings now. Did you pick up on that or anything like that?
Yeah, I thought it was very reminiscent of, Rhaegar, them saying, he was good at fighting, but he never enjoyed killing. There are so many parallels, and then there's moments when you see the scenes, and we know that he's a Stark. I mean, we know that he's a Targaryen, and he doesn't know, and it's like being a fly on the wall. And, I am the last Targaryen. No, you're not. No, you're not. There's one right in front of you.
That's the thing, though. Like I think I saw a meme earlier. I think it was Marie Hill. Shout out to Marie Hill in the chat. And Marie followed. We were on Facebook and whatnot, and Marie put it up, and she was like, "What was it?" Damn, it was like, I forgot how the meme went. It was like, it was basically what you just said. It was like, I'm the last Targaryen, and then like you have another Targaryen in front of you. And another funny thing that I really enjoyed was that video you sent us earlier. It was you, right? You sent it about the porn music.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That
was funny.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I wish I could put it on here, but I can't because I probably might get my video flagged. But it was like this this video with the meeting of Jon Snow and Daenerys, and basically they have like porn music basically on, and it's just hilarious. It's like it changes the context of the whole video so much. It was just crazy. It was just insane. You know what I mean? To me, it was just hilarious. If you put porn music in anything, on top of anything, I think it's hilarious. But where did you get? What was that video? I don't know. I probably might have to share it on my Facebook page.
It was in chat, so
yeah, it was in chat. I'll be able to share it though on my Facebook page. But if you guys don't, you guys should definitely follow my Facebook page. I always post like when the images for the new episodes come out, I post little thoughts and whatnot that I have. So you should follow my Rayz the Alba Facebook page if you don't. So let's skip on to the next topic, right? Because we do have other things to talk about just besides the meeting, because we did have a lot of great stuff in this episode. And in this episode, we had a lot go down in King's Landing. We see that basically the Sand Snakes are taken to Cersei. We also see that I always forget his name. Tychos, the dude from the Iron Bank, goes to King's Landing, and he's speaking with Cersei on terms and what needs to be done. We see that Cersei promises to pay in a fortnight, which is the equivalent to like 15 days, which means that, you know, everything. I like that they put that little cue in there though, because I feel that it kind of did point out to us that, you know, like how long it is taking from now, from when Jaime gets to Highgarden, but we'll talk on Highgarden later. And we see that basically the Sand Snakes are in Cersei's custody. We also see that Cersei has no fucks to give on if anybody knows that she's banging Jaime. We see that Euron has made his move, and he told Cersei what he wants. He wants to marry Cersei. What did you think about Euron, Jaime, Cersei, all this good stuff that went down in King's Landing?
You know, Euron, of course, he had a good scene. It wasn't as good. It wasn't as great as his other ones. And of course, you know, Cersei just plays him. What your heart desires after is one. And I'm thinking, buddy, you're not going to get what your heart desires. Like, okay. Oh my gosh. Like, Skype is popping up. No. I don't want Skype. I'm good. Go away.
Yeah, I'll come back to you.
So, you're not gonna get your heart desires at all.
I mean,
I thought that it was really tacky what she did. I know she doesn't care if people know that they sleep together, but it was still really tacky, and I felt embarrassed for Jaime.
I mean, Jaime has pretty much, you know, wanted always to be able to openly, you know, be with his sister, but we'll get on that a little bit later. I'll get more on that later when we talk about the Queen of Thorns and Highgarden. But I personally think that Cersei is kind of feeling herself too much. I think that she is bound to come back to Earth, because when the season started, me in my mind, I'm like, Cersei's gonna lose this like easily, but she did put up a better fight than I, you know, have anticipated. You know what I mean? Like, I did not expect her to put up such a great bout or a battle, but to me, it was very bold of her to promise. What you call it? It's, you know, yo, like, it's crazy. Somebody just wrote like this spoilery comment on one of my videos. Damn, that just threw me off. I don't know why. Like, yeah. Let me finish my thought.
No spoilers, y'all.
Yeah, no spoilers. No spoilers. No spoilers. I can't stress that enough. But what you call it? I just feel that Cersei will come back down to earth, and I feel that the Iron Bank will not have its due. I still feel that something has to happen there. Like it cannot just be so straightforward. Like the Iron Bank, bam, like here's your money. Now you get to give us back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel that something's up. I don't think that it's gonna work out that easily for Cersei. We see that she has Ilaria. Tyene is basically marked for death. If we are to believe that she basically copied the same poison that they did on Marcella, we see that Cersei. I think that Cersei has gotten pretty arrogant, pretty cocky, even more than Daenerys. Daenerys is kind of seeing that, you know, she's being humbled, and Cersei needs to be humbled, you know, because I do believe that at some point in this season, I think that we do have to have Cersei, Jon, and Daenerys try to work out together or communicate with each other. What are your thoughts on Cersei? So you think she's gonna keep taking W's, or she's gonna get an L? I don't know.
I mean, she's gotten a lot of wins so far. I mean, by the end of the episode, I was very surprised, and I was like, oh no, because you don't want her to win, you know? I mean, the way she's gotten there, I mean, some things like killing the daughter, Tyene, or whatever her name is, like, you can't blame her for that. But you don't want her to succeed. You don't, you know, even though Dany's being arrogant, I don't want her to lose. I want her and Jon to work together and win. But she's got a lot of wins really quickly. And even the way that she just, like, manipulated the guy from the Iron Bank, like, really? Like, you all are idiots. Like, I mean, and can I say this? Baby Sam has grown up, right?
Yeah.
How much time has gone by? Euron's built 1,000 ships. Yet Cersei's hair can't grow any more than that?
I think she's just kept it like that.
She should have had a bob by now, right? But I'm like, but that just is the side note. I'm like, her hair, that wig is killing me now. But she manipulated the guy from the Iron. I'm like, Dany has 3 dragons. Who wouldn't bank on her?
I know, like you would think that they would take.
Again,
like,
manipulates people.
What was that?
Cersei manipulates people. I said, once again, Cersei manipulates people, and it's getting on my nerves.
I mean, I think that Cersei is kind of getting her way, but she has to come back down to earth because Cersei has been portrayed as not a very smart character, always. Like, she's a savage, but she's not smart. Just because she got rid of the High Sparrow and the Faith of the Seven doesn't mean that it was a smart play. You know what I mean? That means that she's just crazy and she's willing to do anything to, you know, get whatever she wants done. That being said, I just feel that how could I put it? I just feel that Jaime and Euron eventually will be the downfall of Cersei. I think that will be. I mean, with that whole comment that Euron did with the whole finger in the bum, like, I was like, one, what the hell is happening? Like, why are they? You know what I mean? And then another, I was just like, yo, this is crazy. Like, he's openly, like, I don't care what nobody says. Like, I've been in a club and like had like dudes looking at my girl, but that's my girl, and my girl, like, you know, lets you know, like, that's your girl. But Cersei is just playing along with Euron, and like, I have the feeling that Cersei really, really likes Euron. You know what I mean? Like, do you feel that she likes Euron? Because I feel like I've been with I've had girlfriends and whatnot that are like very attractive, and like a bunch of dudes are after them. But when they get, your girlfriend reassures you, like, yo, look, I'm with you. Like, you know what I mean? If you feel insecure. Jaime looks like he's very insecure right now, and Cersei does not look like she's like for example, that scene right after she poisons the sand snakes, she doesn't go to Jaime because she loves Jaime. She goes to Jaime because she's getting off on getting revenge on the sand snakes.
Exactly. Exactly.
like to me, it just I always bring up like my own relationship dynamics with other people when I see Game of Thrones because it kind of makes you like put it into perspective. I'm like, yo, this chick is crazy. Like, yo, she just like, and then like we were talking the other day, Amelia, about the poison. She poisons Tyene, and then she goes and makes out with Jaime, and then proceeds to we're not gonna go into the dirty details, but what do you think about that? Do you think that Cersei is kind of failing Jaime a bit, like, or do you think this like what are your thoughts on the future of the dynamic between their relationship?
I don't think that they're going to last. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I don't think that they're going to last. Way too into herself and her plans. And, Jaime, I'm just so mad that they had sex. Because Jaime was doing so good and he was staying so strong, and now I feel like he's gone like, one step forward, two steps back with her. Thing happens in the future that allows him to break away from her because she's just digging her own grave. She is her own self-destruction eventually. Yeah, that's what I think.
No, but I mean, I really think that Euron knows that he's being an irritant. He knows exactly what he's doing, and I think that it's going to be only getting crazier and crazier and crazier. But before we change up to the next location, let's give some shout outs to everyone in the chat. Let's see. Shout out to Marie Hill, Renee M. She says she's late, but you're still joining us. So thanks, Renee, for joining. Let's see. Audrey, Anna, John, Celino, Sluice, Friggins, Samid, Sand, Edward Klein. Let's see. Meriden, Mormont. Let's see. Big E. Let's see. Candy, Carrie. Let's see. Filthy Casual. I'm waiting for that 2K. That NBA 2K at Rayz the Alba. You can find me there. Anybody who wants to challenge me, you can find me there. I'm waiting. Let's see. I'm not very good, but I'm waiting. Let's see. Meriden. Shout out to Meriden. I believe Meriden is in Africa. Shout out to Meriden. Let's see. The one true David Adams holding it down. And anybody, all my moderators, if you see somebody spoiling, let them know. Give them like a warning or two. And then, if you got to pull the trigger, pull the trigger. I trust all of y'all. That's why y'all my moderators. All right, let's see. So, do you see anybody else? Let me see. Jedi Master Cheryl. Shout out to Cheryl. Always a support. Todd Fowler. Let's see. Carrie Neves. I don't know. I always butcher that. Again, Edward Blanco. Everybody, thanks to everybody for joining us. Before we go on to our next topic, let me just say something. I know that most of the people in the chat are mad cool, mad chill, and they don't do this. But man, have I been getting crazy like feedback on like 2 of my videos, right? 2 of my videos have been specifically kind of upsetting people, or not upsetting. People feel like, because this is one of the funny things about making videos, Amelia. Like, once you make video predictions and predictions for videos and stuff, when you get them wrong, people get to tell you you got it wrong, right? So apparently, I don't know what. I'm not gonna go into anything, but 2 of my videos are like debunked, I guess, in the upcoming episode, I guess. I'm not gonna say which ones, because then that would spoil for you guys. But I guess that everybody has like decided. I have these 2 videos, man, and they're like 2 months old. And now it's that everybody's writing on my video. Like, the videos have kind of like they're kind of getting traction, and everybody feels that they need to tell me that I was wrong. Please check the date on the video if you do, because they're kind of old and outdated. So everybody needs to chill out on that. Filthy Casual said, what happened?
Oh, nothing. I thought I couldn't hear you.
No, it was just I started reading the chat. Um, what you call it? So let's continue to our next topic because I just needed to get that out there. You know that people are kind of, you know, I don't want to say harassing, but I mean shit. Like people are going in when I get something wrong. But let's just move on to our next topic, Amelia, because like I said, we were going to keep this one a little bit shorter. Let's move on to Winterfell. And in Winterfell, we see this lovely, lovely, weird, odd SOB, Brandon Stark. Oh my God, what the hell? Like, they gotta be honking that car. So we see Brandon Stark in the previous episode, in episode 3, and basically Brandon is acting all types of weird. We see that it's like this crazy, beautiful reunion between him and Sansa Stark, and he's just all types of fucking weird. He's just a weirdo. Like, he's just like all creepy. What did you think about Brandon Stark in the previous episode? Because I was just frustrated. I was like, yo, like Sansa, we go from Sansa doing her thing to poor Sansa being like harassed by Bran. Like, that's how I saw it. It was just like a weird ass situation. What did you think about the whole Bran and Sansa reunion?
Of course, I always get teary-eyed whenever they play the Stark, music, and there's a Stark reunion. But then, when they're at the wood and they're at the tree, it was almost, people were really creeped out by him, but I just thought that he was almost still in shock. Almost like a PTSD sort of syndrome. And he doesn't know how, like, with everything that's happened to him, he doesn't know how to process being back home, his family that he hasn't seen in years. And also sort of losing his innocence and knowing everything that he knows and carrying this heavy burden. It's like he can't comprehend it, and now he can hardly communicate with people. And then, of course, when he tells Sansa, what he saw, which was her wedding and her wedding night, I'm like, really? That's what you're going to tell her? There's so many other things you could have told her, but at the same time, maybe that was, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, and like maybe he thought that was the only way that she would believe that he has these visions and that he can see, is if he specifically that was important to her and traumatic. But hopefully he becomes a little bit more animated later. Hopefully.
Bran really made me mad. Like, yo, cause I understand the whole, he's probably desensitized, or he's not picking up on, like, unsensitive things that he's doing. But he knows that this is something that upsets her. He's saying, I'm sorry for, what you had to go through in our house and our home, right? And then he proceeds to tell her the day that she got raped and say it was beautiful. Like, describe all these beautiful things about it. No, your sister was raped. Like, I don't care what nobody says. Like, to me, this mofo is evil. He is bad. He is shady. He is hoodwinking, bamboozling, and leading people astray. He is not good news, people. I'm telling you. Because I understand the whole, what you call it, like, he might have had PTSD, or he's desensitized, or he's not like a human being anymore, or he's lost himself. But if you know that you have to apologize for something, for how bad it was, why would you then bring it up to her and then use things to describe it as beautiful, and like just like this, and then like give your poor sister an anxiety attack? Sansa has annoyed me in the past, but shit, she didn't deserve that, especially after we're seeing that she's holding everything down in the north and for Jon. I don't know, it was just like weird, man. I ever since the episode The Door, I do not like Bran.
A little harsh.
No, that's not harsh. He killed Hodor. He made Hodor hold the door. He fucked up Hodor, man. He did it to Hodor. The day that I see if I ever get to see a white Hodor, I will really hate Bran. Could you imagine like a white Hodor being like, door instead of like Hodor. He doesn't even say he just says like the door or some shit. Like
He still said Hodor as a white. That would be awkward.
I know, right? Like held the door, held the. No, if he says held the door, that'll be awkward as fuck. Like, you know what I mean? If he brings it up, but let's see what some people in the chat say. You know, let's see. Adam Mo says he agrees with me. I mean, I do believe that he is not a good person, to be honest. Yeah, Tina, I agree. He went too deep. Like, you don't think that you... I noticed that when it comes to me and Amelia is more give the character a chance to develop. I'm more like, what I see last, that's what I go on. Like, if you did something shitty, you are a shitty person. Amelia is more compassionate. That's why I think, make such a good duo. I like to think that Amelia kind of balances me out on that because I am very impulsive with my beliefs. Yeah, I agree with Filthy Casual though. He says, "I'll hate Bran if he never gives us a Rhaegar flashback." At this point, do you think we might get a Rhaegar flashback in the season?
We better.
I just don't
There's a reason why they're not doing Robert's Rebellion as a spinoff, because it said that we needed to see. So we better.
I mean,
I'll be mad. I'm mad that we have I thought we would get a Vision. Like, I want a Vision.
I like Visions, but I mean, I thought that we would have. Like, instead of just cutting it down to 10, we should have gotten, like, flashback episodes. Like, complete flashback episodes of Robert's Rebellion. Like, The Long Night. We should have gotten an episode of The Long Night. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Bran the Builder building some shit. We should have gotten a Robert's Rebellion. The Battle in the Trident. We should have gotten Tourney at Harrenhal. Like, that would have been, like, a whole production, like, a whole movie. We should have gotten at least, like... We only have 7 episodes this season. We should have gotten 3 flashback episodes. I don't care what nobody says. That's what I want. Like, we should have gotten that, but we didn't. It sucks. Let's see. So let's move on to our next topic. This one was pretty interesting. I enjoyed it. The upcoming topic. It was the Citadel. We see that Sam and Jorah were together at the Citadel and whatnot. We see that Sam basically healed Jorah. We see that they have this little handshake there that they have. And it was a pretty cool moment, you know what I mean? We see that the Archmaester says that Jorah was healed. My favorite part in it was when he said it was the climate, like the weather, that healed him. And it was just like a really dope scene. I really enjoyed it. What did you think about the Citadel? Did you have any thoughts on it? What did you like about it? What didn't you?
I mean, in you showing that picture, it's like, man, that really healed up. Like, just like all of a sudden, and I'm really happy that Sam cured Jorah. I like Jorah. Order scene, and I liked how Jorah played it. Like, I just rested, and it must have been the climate. Like, I'm not telling you how it was done, and I liked that Sam got recognition, and then him saying, "I just read the instructions and followed them." It was a nice scene. I was happy with it, but I feel like everything's just sort of like, well, that's done now. Moving on. Like, everything's happening so fast. And they said that it would, but I really think that we could have had 10 episodes. I really do.
I don't think that there's any reason for us not having 10 episodes. Like, every old episode that we had throwaway scenes. They had, like, developing scenes. Like, scenes to show you, like, a character developing. Like, I feel that we should be... Like, we saw the Hound in the first episode, and we haven't seen him again. We should see the Brotherhood at least again. Like, I want to know where they're at. Last time we saw them, they were in the north. How is it that we haven't seen them? Arya is on her way to the north. Bran was on his way from the wall down. Bran already made it. In the preview, it looks like Arya might make it in the upcoming episode. I just feel like we should have seen more of the Brotherhood on their way, a little bit of their relationship, the dynamic between them, because we know that they're later going to be like Beyond the Wall or at Eastwatch or whatever the hell it is that's happening that we see with Jon Snow and all of them together. So I want to know how they get there, what type of relationship they have before they end up there, because to me that kind of gives you a little bit more, you know, something to munch on before we get to the ending of the season. But I don't know. I do agree with you. I feel like we're kind of pushing through it. Why? I keep forgetting to change the camera when I leave it on you, and then I forget that it's on you. And then
I'm so over here.
Huh?
I'm just tired, and I have a broken toe, and people will probably please get it off of her face.
No, like I forget. I mean, I'm pretty sure that people don't want to see my mug. They prefer seeing yours. So, but again, I think that they are rushing everything. One thing that I really enjoyed about it was the kind of, it was the emotion behind the actual scene. Because the actual emotion behind the scene, right? We see that Jorah hasn't been able to touch anybody. And then when he gives the hand, it's like you know what I mean? The facial expression that Jorah, the actor who portrays Jorah, Liam Glenn, made, reminded me of kind of like when Ned says like, "I promise," and then like he goes like that little "I promise." It was like a saddened but happy, like, you know what I mean? I don't know, like it was like a weird thing there. I don't know, for some reason I thought about that other clip right away. After this, we see that the Archmaester tells Sam that he has to go to his room, that he has to talk with him later on and that day, and we see that he's telling him that he has to copy these old books because they have what were they? Book mites or some shit? Book ticks or something?
Paper mites?
Paper mites, yeah. What do you think? Like, I personally, as soon as I saw it, I said in my reaction, I was like, yo, that is like when he's writing the whole, you know, what you call it, when he's I said that's when he's writing, he's gonna find whatever he needs in there. That's what he's doing. He's doing him a favor. You know what I mean? Like because I think that after the whole debacle with the grayscale, he's like, yo, I gotta get this kid out of here because he wants to learn and he wants to do what he has to do. What do you think are in those scrolls that Sam has to copy?
I have no idea.
What?
I didn't think about that.
You didn't think about that? What? Like, yo, that was like the first thing I thought about. Like when I saw that, I was like, you could go in my reaction and I say it. I'm like, my reaction video, I'm like, there must be something about like the long night. Like right there in my reaction, I was like, yo, there must be something about the long night or something that he needs in those. And I think that he's just doing it because they're so old that they need like transcripts or copies. When Sam finds it, my thought was Sam is going to find something in there. He's going to copy everything. Once he copies everything, right, he's going to take the old ones with him to the north or to Jon, or he's going to take them like as proof to whatever maester or whatever he has to do. That's what I thought was going to happen. But I thought like that it was pretty much like, you know, like an open thing. One thing that I want to see what everybody in the chat says, because I am very adamant about this. I am not a fan of the theory that Samwell Tarly will find something pertaining Jon Snow's parentage at the Citadel. I find that like it has no backbone to it. Like I don't see where people are getting this thought that Rhaegar during Robert's Rebellion would be like, oh, let me send proof of this, and that it wouldn't be known throughout the whole Seven Kingdoms that Jon is, or that Rhaegar had another son. Because yes, you could bring up the point that Jon Snow could have a different name under there, but it would show that Rhaegar still had another child. And it would be public knowledge if indeed that was. I just don't see like a real thing. I want to know in the chat what you guys think. Do you think that Sam maybe might find something pertaining Jon's parentage in the Citadel?
No, I don't think so. I think that's all going to be on Bran's character. Bran. I don't see that.
I mean, I really don't. Like, I could imagine, like, I just can't, like, I just don't see it, like, realistically. Like, Like, oh yeah, they're trying to kill me and my family, and I am going to make a document saying that this is my son. You know what I mean? Like, I do believe that Jon is legitimate because the Kingsguard were protecting Jon Snow. If he were a bastard, they would go protect, you know, his other children who were legitimate and were princes and were crowned prince, basically, after Rhaegar, right? But that's, like, I just don't see it. I really don't. I really, really don't see it. Let me see what they say in the chat.
Maybe the only thing that maybe I could see would be proof of marriage.
Yeah,
that Rhaegar sent a proof of marriage, but that not, you know, of the child, so that, you know, maybe it got lost in translation, maybe it got lost in the shuffle, and maybe Sam, you know, runs past it, but that would be the only thing I would think, like, I want to register this marriage.
But I mean, like, for example, one thing that in my eyes is just weird is the fact that, okay, let's say, for example, proof of marriage is something that has existed, right? What would that serve Jon Snow? You would need proof that Jon Snow is Lyanna's son. Like, you can't just go based off of word of mouth. I mean, I honestly think that if it were to come out that, you know, Ned did not break his vows to Catelyn and, you know, he didn't cheat on her and he didn't have a bastard, I think that a lot of people would buy into that because Ned, like, they throw it in the story so much that Ned wouldn't break his, you know, his vows to Catelyn, like his marriage or whatever. He wouldn't betray Cat like that. So it's brought up so much that I think that anybody would bring up, like, oh, it wasn't true. I think people would be easy to buy into that. But for you to go from that to Jon Snow is Rhaegar and Lyanna's son, even though I believe it because I'm a reader, it is hard to prove and to believe. Just like the White Walkers are hard to prove and believe. When there's, like, history of it in the Citadel, there's, like, stories of it and all that stuff. I think that it's funny that, you know what I mean? Like, I just think it's a funny thing.
I don't think it's going to be as hard to prove as you think. It is known that that is what started Robert's Rebellion, is that Lyanna was kidnapped. The whole realm knows that. Just nobody knows that a baby came from it. And that's where Bran's going to come in.
But in this episode, we see that Daenerys basically saying she believes in herself, not in gods, not in whatever, in herself. You think that anybody who could come and take her claim to the Iron Throne without proof, like, even I see here in the chat, Marie says, Danny will need proof of Rhaegar and Lyanna's marriage. Danny will want proof. I don't believe that, like, I think that you need concrete proof.
But you're assuming that Jon would want to take that role. He might say, you can be queen. I don't want to be king. Even if I'm next in line, I hand it over to you.
I agree. But just in terms of the publicly accepting, I think that if Jon is there and it's a possibility that Jon is legitimate, she will not want that to be true unless it's, like, proven.
Well, you just got $5, and they from Amber, and she did mention Howland Reed has firsthand account of the events, so we still have one person alive.
Thank you.
That can vouch.
Wait, so first off, let me start off by saying thank you to Amber Littlefinger. Thank you for the donation. It helps hell a lot, and thank you so much. It will be going into the channel again, so thank you so much for the support. But when it pertains, like you said, I do agree. Howland Reed does know. You know, Howland Reed is aware of Jon's parentage, but still, how much weight could you put behind Howland Reed? He's a bannerman of the Starks. There might be some bias there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I were Daenerys, I would be like, that's a bannerman of the Starks. He'll lie for you. Like, why should I believe him? You know what I mean? Like, that's just my opinion. Like, I'm
gonna go grab a bottle of water. I'll be right back. Okay, so keep the camera on you.
All right. But that's just my opinion, guys. I think that it is very difficult to say that, let's say, for example, Jon Snow would be, like, accepted. Like, oh, yeah, here you go. Like, you're Rhaegar's son. Like, you know what I mean? I don't see that happening. To me, it's just such a stretch. Yeah, Renee, Starks don't lie. But guess what? When it comes to taking away other people's claim to stuff, you're lying until you prove it 100% to me. And then we see that Daenerys does not believe in White Walkers. She doesn't believe in the army of the dead. And even Tyrion is kind of believing it. And she's like, nope. That's how much I think that she's not going to buy into, like, oh, yeah, we're family. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think it's realistic, especially after, unless, like, D&D go off the rails and they just go really unrealistic. But realistically speaking, the only ways of proving Jon Snow's parentage are through Bran, Howland Reed, and if, I'll just include it in there, if there's something in the Citadel, which, like I said, I don't believe. I am so against, like, to me, the possibilities of them finding something pertaining to Jon's parentage in the Citadel is like 9 they won't to 1 they will. Like, I am so sure that they won't, because I just don't see it like a realistic option. Like, maybe in the books, but in the TV show, there's not a chance in hell I think that happens. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat, because, you know, I love going through the chat and seeing how you guys go nuts. Let's see. Meredith says, this whole Jon stuff drives me nuts. I think Dany wouldn't care. Jon will prove himself as a king because he will show it with fighting and leading, says John Salino. I agree. I think that she might like Jon in the future, because I think Emilia Clarke says that she likes the way that he wants to protect his people. But again, I think that liking is something else than accepting that you are family. Like, you know what I mean? Even though Daenerys and Jon have always wanted like that family where they are accepted, so they might later down the line, but I just don't see it happening. And how many episodes we have? Tomorrow is episode 4. So what, we have 10 episodes left. And in these 10 episodes, we're going to get like this whole, I don't think that's going to happen. Carol Funk says, Rayz, do you think that it's strange that we haven't seen Howland Reed in all the time, but Mira did mention his name this season? Do you think that that's foreshadowing that we'll see him? I do believe that we will possibly in season 8 get him, because I do think that we need Howland Reed to prove his parentage. But Howland Reed is one of those like characters that it's like, where have you been throughout all these events? Like, what do you think, Amelia, about him now that you're back? What do you think about Howland Reed? Do you think we'll get him?
I really hope that we do. And we're going to need him if it's going to be this hard to convince Dany of Jon's parentage. I really hope that we do. I think we will. But I'm wrong a lot. But I'm always hopeful. So I think that it would be, I mean, it's the least that they could do, right? Is to give us Howland Reed, since they're cutting everything so short. And, you know, he was in the flashback with the Tower of Joy. His 2 kids have been in the show. He's an important, you know, character. We kind of need to see him.
I mean, to me, one of the things that really stuck out to me last season with the whole Tower of Joy thing was the scene when they're at the Tower of Joy and Bloodraven says, Bran says, I think that's father, that's my father, and then Howland Reed, and then Bloodraven says, and that's Howland Reed, Mira's father. So that is to show you, like, look, he is there. That's one of those, we'll put it in a recap video that he was at the Tower of Joy scenes. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see that in the beginning of an episode in the future to show it. I just have that feeling. But this is one of those topics that, you know, everybody always gets hype. I get really emotional and hype about it. I get jacked, even though I sound like I'm arguing. I'm not arguing. I'm just really loud. I'm Dominican. It's like a Dominican thing. So let's move on to our next topic. Let's move on to freaking Casterly Rock, right? We see that Casterly Rock has gone crazy. It went down at Casterly Rock. We see that the Unsullied basically attack it. They are expecting the Lannister forces to be there. They take the castle through a plan devised by Tyrion. Yeah, that's the way it goes. And a bunch of them died, and they were able to take Casterly Rock. But we see later on, that, you know, Casterly Rock is basically empty. There's basically nobody there. They emptied out all the food. at Castle Rock, as we later learned from Jamie, and it's basically empty. Like nothing is there. So I have a few questions. As someone who has read the books, Amelia, and as someone who wanted to see Castle Rock, like all of us, what did you think? Were you overwhelmed, underwhelmed? What did you think about Castle Rock, and what do you think about the situation that Grey Worm and the Unsullied are in?
I was very underwhelmed by how they handled the last, all except for Lady Olenna's performance. I was underwhelmed by how they handled the last 10 minutes of the show. I was very confused at first. I was like, where is Jamie? Like, it all went by so fast. I mean, I enjoyed, like, Tyrion's voiceover. Like, that was fine. That you're going to do a voiceover and you're going to guide us through. But you're going to put this in the last 10 minutes? When you do episodes that are called Battle of the Bastards, that are, like, an entire episode, and then you're going to do this quick, like, take of Casterly Rock, and then I'm glad that Grey Worm quickly realized, like, where are the rest of them? But it just is another thing that's being rushed.
I mean, I'm going to keep it 100. I liked the scene in the trailer when I thought it was a freaking scene. The way that it's just doing, like, well, I saw the inside the episode, right? And basically D&D say, like, we wanted you to see how it should have been going, and then, like, you realize, oh wait, something's wrong when you're watching it. And yes, you do get that effect when you see the episode, right? I do believe that I was like, wait, like, what's happening? Why aren't we, like, why is everything, like, so easy? Where's everybody? Whatever. Cool, I get that. But I did not want this. Like, you know what I mean? I wanted to see the battle that you advertised. So it kind of did suck. It was underwhelming. 2, Castle Rock was ugly. It was a horrible castle. It just not look like anything from the depictions that I've seen in fan art. So I think that kind of, like, you know what I mean? Like, sucked for me. I think that my expectations were a bit out of what you call it, out of whack. But overall, I enjoyed it because, you know, that led to Highgarden. And we kind of had a similar situation in Highgarden. We'll get to Highgarden now. But
like, that should have been an entire episode. Like, them, like, you finally have the Unsullied going into a battle. And then basically everything that they showed us were the exact clips in the trailers. Like, that was it. Like, they showed the whole battle already in the trailers. Like, and then what happened in Highgarden and how they did and tricked them, that could have been an entire episode, but it wasn't.
I mean,
you know, I always say, like, I want, you know, like, I feel like if I lived anywhere, it would be in Highgarden. I really wanted to see Highgarden, and I had to, like, rewind it to realize I was even there.
I mean, I personally, the way that I see it, the castles, like, when you look back at the castles that we have been able to see in Game of Thrones, right? Like, you look at Bear Island when John went there with, and we just see like this, yo, CGI, like a beautiful thing, like, yo, make like this very detailed thing. Why do you go and then you make like this, like, if you're just gonna show Jamie walking through it, you know what I mean? Why do that? Like, just, I don't know, it just felt a little bit underwhelming. I do like the plan, and we'll get to that when we get to the whole Jamie and Highgarden thing, but we see that basically Grey Worm and them are in a pretty shitty position right now. They're not looking good. What did you think about Jamie leaving no food, and then we see that the Greyjoys, or Euron Greyjoy, is attacking the naval fleet of Dany's Unsullied?
It just, like, I don't know, like another win for Cersei. That's how I felt.
I mean, like, it's, you know, one thing that drove me nuts was, I was like, cool, why don't you at least try to get Jon to make the military plan for you? Like, okay, yes, Jon Snow does not want to fight, he doesn't want to get into anything, but he could have advised Tyrion, like, yo, this is the plan. Of course, this is to kind of even Daenerys and you know, Daenerys and Cersei a bit to even them out. But damn, it was just like weird. It was just like a weird bad decision after bad decision, because we know that Tyrion's plan is good. It is a good plan, but again, they're like a step slow on everything that Cersei and Jaime and the Lannisters and their alliance is doing. So let's just move on to Highgarden, because it's basically these two scenes were sewn in together. We later see that in Highgarden, we see that the Tarleys join the Lannisters. We see that they are on their way to take Highgarden, and it wasn't pretty much anything. It wasn't a big fight. It was so easy. We see that Jaime is walking again through Highgarden, and we get some of the best dialogue I think we've ever gotten from the Queen of Thorns. It was just such an epic scene. It was so dope, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think that it was great from her. Basically, her military branch, her house, that is like her military house, betrayed her and joined the Lannisters, so they never really had a chance. But what did you think about that? The Tarleys jumping ship and Jaime being able to take Highgarden so easily?
I didn't think that that's what they were going to do. Like I said, I was like, what is going on here? Where is he? Where are we? And, you know, it really took me a minute. And I hate to see House Tyrell go. I guess I was hoping that the Tarleys wouldn't, you know, but then again, everything is happening so fast. So it's time for the character development to maybe, you know, him not, you know, turn on the Tyrells, but he did, because we had no time for character development or anything else, but just moving right through. It was a smart, like, battle move for Jaime. And of course, you know, he gives credit to Robb Stark for that. But, I mean, you know, they got their goal. They stole their food, and poor Lady Olenna.
Poor Lady Olenna, you know all the shit that old woman provoked? Like, I understand, like that lady provoked so much shit. Like, I said it in my last video, right? I did like a video like about how basically Cersei is poisoning her relationship with Jaime and stuff, and how it's like a doomed relationship and whatnot. And yo, Lady Olenna, the Queen of Thorns, is at fault for like half of all the crazy shit that has happened in Westeros. Like, when you really look at it, Cersei hates Sansa because she thinks that she killed Robb. I mean, that she killed... Cersei thinks that Sansa killed Joffrey, which is a lie. It was the Queen of Thorns. Then later, Cersei goes after Tyrion, and Tyrion is trialed for his death. Oberyn jumps in to get a lick at the mountain. Guess who dies in that? Oberyn. Then after that, the Sand Snakes take it up against the Lannisters, and then they go head-to-head against the Lannisters, when they really shouldn't have. It would have been chilled. Oberyn would have been alive. Everybody would have been chilling at Dorne, drinking some Dornish wine, but no. They had to fucking kill Oberyn. They end up killing Oberyn. The Martells hate the Lannisters again, or it's like openly now. Then you have the Sand Snakes fucking with Cersei, and then the High Septum comes up, and Cersei puts them to go up against the Tyrells because they're pushing Marjorie onto Tommen. Cersei doesn't like it. She blows up the Sept, and now it's all hell, all war. And I feel like the Queen of Thorns does not get enough credit for all the shit that she stirred up. She's like on that Varys Littlefinger level, in my opinion, from all the stuff that she's provoked. But let's not get it twisted. She had the most badass death in Game of Thrones, I think, to date. I'm not sure. Do you agree with me on that, or what did you think about her exit from the show?
I liked how she asked how, like, she knew her fate. She asked how, you know, how was he going to do it with a sword? And then he tells her, well, Cersei wanted to do X, Y, and Z, but, you know, Jaime, being the not crazy one in the family, just decided on poison. And she asked, you know, will it be painful? And he said, no, I made sure of that. And she just drinks that wine like it is her job. And then sets that cup down and has the most epic exit that I've ever seen. And I've always loved Lady Olenna. Her just anything that comes out of her mouth is just pure gold. The woman can do no wrong in my eyes. Like, she's my hero. I just love her. Like, at that age, and to just the things that she says, I just love her. And then for her to go out like that, that's what made the show. Like, this was such, like, this episode was definitely a 10 out of 10. Yeah, we've sat here for, you know, an hour and talked about all of the shortfalls that it had, which goes to show that we could have used 10 episodes. But this episode was still, like, I've never wanted to immediately, like, watch one, like again, immediately. It was such a good episode, and 90% of that goes to her.
I mean, like, when I saw the scene, first thing I thought was, oh shit, Jamie's gonna stab her. Like, Jamie's gonna take that head off, like, before she dies, right? Because if you think about it, why didn't Jamie take her head? There's no reason for him not killing her, or like, torturing her.
Because he respects her too.
No, but she confessed to killing Joffrey. You know what I mean? He will have to deliver that information to Cersei. Like, you know what I mean? To me, that just shows maturity. Huh?
You think he'll really tell her?
Yeah, because he has to clear Tyrion's name that he didn't kill Joffrey. Yeah, he killed Tywin now, but he has to tell her. Like, what I thought was gonna happen was, I thought they were gonna take. Look at what I thought. This is what I think. In my head, it was he gave her the poison, but he's gonna have to tell Cersei that she killed Joffrey, right? So in my mind, I was like, yo, he's gonna let her die and take her head. And then he's going to, like, chop her head off and bring Cersei the head so that, you know, Cersei basically, you know, is satisfied that she suffered somewhat, or it was, like, somewhat painful. But because it's just, like, I feel that Jamie has matured a bit, because if it would have been old Jamie would have, like, tortured her right before she died. He wouldn't have been that chill. But you see that Jamie is hurt when she says that she killed Joffrey. And when she's confessing to it, you can see, like, the pain in his face. I love that scene just because of that. Like, you see the acting was well, I think, in it. Like, I think that it was very mature of Jamie not to kill her. You know, it was very telling that Jamie didn't. This is the guy who killed the king, his king that he was sworn to protect. But he's like, all right, cool, you did it. You got your lick in. All right. And then he just leaves. So I just like the way that Jamie approached it after he learned the fact. And it's interesting because in the video that I did yesterday, I mentioned that in the books, he tells Brienne that Joffrey was basically just a squirt of seed in Cersei's cunt. His exact words, right? Are you there?
Yeah.
All right. Like, those were his exact words. So he never really had any connection to Joffrey. But to me, it just shows maturity that, you know, he was kind of like, oh, you know, whatever. He kind of brushed it off, and it was interesting. But let's see what everybody in the chat says.
I mean, you know, you could tell that he was upset and angry when she confessed, but he also kind of smirked when she said Joffrey was a cunt. I mean, because we all know that he was. He knows that he was. So, I mean, maybe he's upset and hurt, but at the same time, she did everybody a big favor.
I mean, like, as soon as I heard her call Joffrey a cunt, I thought about that thing that Jamie said about him just being a squirt of whatever, and, you know, in Cersei. So, what happened?
Universal
it's my computer talking to us again.
Drivers, which need to be updated immediately.
Yeah, I can't mute you when it's like this.
Update all to get the latest drivers.
It's done.
It's done. No, but I mean, it's crazy that Jamie doesn't have that same urge for battle that Cersei has. Cersei wants revenge for killing her children. Jamie, towards the end on the TV show, he was getting cool with Marcella and with Tommen, but he never really had that connection with Joffrey, and we see that Joffrey was an asshole to him when he was alive. So, you know, it was interesting. It was a dope scene. I really enjoyed it. Overall, what would you give the episode on a scale of 1 to 10?
A 10. loved it. But, you know, and it sucks because it's like, this could have been 2 episodes. I mean, it was a great episode. It should have been 2 episodes.
I mean, I think that I gave this episode like an 8.5 or an 8 when I first saw it. But I think that an 8.5 is a solid episode for, like, because I still think that there's like a 10 out there. To me, like, a 10 is like Battle of the Bastards, Hard Home, Deceptive Baylor. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those episode 9s to me usually tend to be 10s. But episode 8.
I don't always have to have a huge battle. Like, Hard Home, yeah, that's a 10. I don't always have to have a huge battle for an episode, for me to love an episode.
I agree.
There were just parts of it. I mean, like, at the end of it, how I felt, like, that's what I'm measuring. And I just loved it. And maybe it's because it went, like, the end of the episode was Lady Olenna, and I love her so much that's what episode. But I just know that on Sunday night, I mean, I was Johnny on the spot, like, messaging you, you know? And I'm not always like that. I was like, oh my gosh, right? Like, remember?
I mean, yeah, like, it really provoked a lot of emotion because we had a reunion. It's like you have everything that is good that you could bet you would want in an episode. You had it, right? You had Bran returning to Winterfell, Dany meeting Jon, the extermination of another house, like a plot twist, like a subtle twist when it came to Jaime learning from Robb and giving up Casterly Rock for Highgarden. Like, all of that, it was just like a great combination of little things that made the episode good overall. I really enjoyed it. Out of the first 3 episodes, it is my favorite of the 3, I believe. But I don't know, man. I hope that we get a little bit more detailed. I hope they kind of slow down the pace a bit. I hope they don't slow it down because, I mean, if they slow it down and we only have 7 episodes in the season, it's gonna suck. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm interested in knowing what you guys think in the chat.
It just sucks, I guess, because you kept this pace of 10 episodes for 6 years, and you told a story for 6 years in a certain way, and now at the end, when you're at the most important parts, you just do a 180, and it sucks. I mean, we totally could have had 10 episodes, and I don't care if Dane and Dave are tired. You knew what you signed up for when you signed up for it, and you knew there were going to be more books. You knew that it was an epic story, and if that was the case, you should have told the story from the beginning. Like, it is so obvious that they want to be done with the show that it makes me sad and mad. Because we're getting such good stuff, yet it's all cut in half.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel that the pacing in these episodes, it seems like you just go to one, like before in previous seasons, I remember, and I felt like we would go to one place and then come back to that place in the same episode, right? Like, we would go, like, to Winterfell twice in an episode or 3 times in an episode. Like, I felt that it was, like, more... I don't feel like that happens, really. Like, even though we are in fewer places, I feel like we don't go back and forth as much to, like, flesh out certain topics or certain things. But I don't know, man. I have some high hopes for the upcoming episodes. We're not talking about spoilers in this stream, guys. So, you know, just keep that in mind. But again, I have a mainly on highlight. But I think we're almost heading out, guys. Let me see. I just want to give some shout outs before we head out. Shout out to Meriden again, Don, MM. Let's see, Craig. Let's see who else is in the chat. Dina Conway, Maria Lind. Let's see. Carol Funk, Julie. Let's see, Marco Minko. Let's see. I keep saying let's see, right? I forgot. Someone said the other day that we should do a drinking game when I talk. I forgot what was it that they said that I say a lot. It's because I'm winging it. That's why people.
100 with you.
What happened?
I'm gonna keep it 100.
Yeah.
You say that a lot. Now I say it.
Ah, I'm gonna keep it 100. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a New York thing. Yeah, I mean, I am trying to cut some words down. Oh, wait, before I forget, happy birthday to Todd Fowler, my boy in the chat. Thanks for joining us every week, Todd Fowler, and I hope you have a great name day because, you know, you're my boy. You're always in the chat. I always appreciate it, and I do notice everyone in the chat. So happy name day to Todd Fowler, everyone. Let him know and show him some love.
Oh, look, there's an Amelia in the chat. She just got here.
There's an Amelia in the chat. Oh, my. Shout out to Amelia C.
Yes, happy birthday, Todd. Yeah, sorry we're cutting it short. I broke my toe. I'm really tired. I've had a horribly long week. Ray's got a family member who's having a baby right now, so he's going to go to the hospital.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was like, they were like, yo, you're not going to the hospital? I was like, yeah, I got a live stream. And they're like, yeah, but like a family member is coming into the world. You should go to the I'm like, yeah. Like, okay.
Yes.
So I have to end up going to the hospital probably after I end this. So I have to see how things are. But thanks everyone for joining us. I'm so sorry that I'm cutting it short today. I hope I could have. I wish we could have been here longer. Like I said, everyone send Amelia her well wishes because she has a broken toe. I always hit my fingers on the end of the couch, and I always like crack them. So I would imagine that's horrible, actually breaking a toe. So everyone show Amelia some love in the chat and the comments because Amelia broke a toe. Yeah, so she was.
And I've never. Wait, seriously, I'll be 32 in just a few weeks. Never broken a bone in my body, and then I broke a toe today. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me.
I mean, I like the way that I see it is. What is it they say about bones? They're stronger when you break them. You're gonna have one strong ass toe.
I don't know, but like in the toes, you can't even really do anything about. You know,
it won't break again.
You just have to like let it heal.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm saying, thanks again, Amelia, for joining us and being such a great sport. I know that you know it's been a hard day, and it's always great, guys, with you in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Again, sorry I'm keeping it a little bit short, you know. These are always fun doing. Love you guys. See you next Saturday at 7 p.m. We will be going over episode 4, and then we could actually talk about it because we're not talking about episode 4 today before it comes out. I don't want to get my channel taken down. But guys, like I said, it's always fun. I love you guys. Thanks for joining us. As always, it's a true pleasure. My name is Ray, and peace.